It's always a challenge switching applications, right? I mean, even today, I've been in Figma now for 5 months and I'm still learning how to do things, right? I had to like do something in prototyping today and I don't know how to do this. I haven't been in this corner of the application much. You know, I was using Sketch for 4 years. So you cannot replace 4 years of muscle memory and 4 years of research and usage in 6 months. Now, I think there's a lot we can carry over each application as shortcuts and methodologies of how things work, but I will be the first to say that auto layout is not easy. It is very challenging. I mean, it's pull your hair out challenging. So in the beginning, but once you start to understand it and get it, even when I get it, I don't get it, first of all. And then I'm like, oh, maybe if I just keep going, it will start to make more sense. It's really rewarding when it starts to work and you start to see the power of it, because it's, in my 20 years of designing, it's by far the coolest feature I've seen yet. So I'm really excited to push the limits of that and see what we're going to be able to do with it.
You know, one of the challenges, you are kind of building the railroad where you are on the, you know, when the train is kind of going so fast. So, you know, we don't go fast enough, unfortunately. We wish it was going faster, but we do what we can. The chance we have is, you know, leadership is understanding what we, well, leadership want this product, and they understand that the benefit of it. But for a big organization, you know, design system is becoming some kind of trendy word, and everybody now need a design system. But you know, not everybody understands what it is really, and sometimes to communicate that not to your direct leadership who understand, but to the rest of the company, it's an investment in terms of time and so budget. And you know, there is some people who don't understand exactly the value until they see it. And as you are starting to building it, and it's not a full-fledged product yet, you know, you still have to convince some people that it's the right approach. So you know, that's not only our challenge. It's you know, when you read about design system, it's always a challenge to be sure that everybody in the company really understand what is a design system and what are the benefits that you are going to get from it. Because at the beginning, it's kind of a big lift. It's a big investment with maybe at the beginning not a big reward, but we know that, you know, it's a long-term investment. So that's one of the challenge, you know, to just evangelize what you are doing and be sure that nobody's going to pull the plug out at some point.
And it's adding to that, Joel, it's not all glorious work, right? Like the design system. I mean, writing documentation, I mean, in the beginning, figure out naming conventions. I mean, you wouldn't believe that you could spend 2 weeks just talking about naming conventions and trying to get consensus with, are we using dashes, spaces, lowercase, uppercase, camel case? I mean, and all of us have bringing years of experience of doing certain patterns. And, you know, it's like building a system at this size, you have to be very consensus driven. You're not going to like every decision that's made. You got to know when to give, like, hey, I wouldn't do it that way, but I appreciate the way you did it, right? Like, you really have to have that attitude to build a system like this.